All right, good morning, class, or good afternoon, whichever period you have. Today we're going to talk about secession, why the South left the Union. All right, before we do that, let's do a quick review. The Civil War started in 1861 and went to 1865. It was fought between the Confederacy and the Union being the winner. The causes. All right. What were the 5 causes of the Civil War? Take 1 minute to come up with the list at your table. You will work between you and your partner. Some sentence stems you can use are the causes of the Civil War are, after 1 minute, you will elect one representative from the 2 of you to have your answers ready. You will raise your hand and I'll come around and call on people. All right, welcome back. So the 5 causes of the Civil War. You had slavery. The Confederacy relied on slavery. They needed it. That was their bread and butter. The Union believed in abolition. They wanted to get rid of it. Then you had tariffs. The South did not want high taxes. The North was trying to hit them with high taxes. States' rights. The Confederacy feared the North would use the federal government to take slaves away. Then you had the election of Abraham Lincoln. The South was worried because Lincoln would not have their interest in mind. And then sectionalism. This is the difference between the North and the South. It made it impossible to coexist. Remember me telling you yesterday that whenever you have so much difference with somebody, eventually it's going to hit the boiling point and you're going to hash it out. All right, secession. To secede, which is to break away. Be sure to write that in your journal. The South's answer to their fear of states' rights was to secede from the Union and create their own republic. You had the Confederate States of America. Look at the example below. I want you to draw this diagram in your journal. You're going to pause the video and take 5 minutes to complete the vocab breakdown of secession. Be sure to write the definition, give me an example, give me a complete sentence. So use the word in your own complete sentence, and then give me a drawing of what you think it means to secede. All right, go ahead and pause the video at this time. Take 5 minutes and complete this diagram. All right, those were some very good diagrams that I saw out there. All right, so the South decided they wanted to leave the Union. Okay, they're not going to just be able to leave the Union without any consequences. So when Abraham Lincoln became president, he declared the Confederacy legally void. But the South ignored his warning. I want you to spend about 1 minute talking with your partner. Why would the South refuse to admit any wrongdoing? Look at these sentence stems right here to help you out. Go ahead and pause the video and take 1 minute to answer this. Okay, very good. Like we were saying in class, the South refused to listen to the president, 1, because they knew that he didn't have their interests at heart, and 2, they were about to go to war with him. In less than a month, the 2 sides were at war. Okay, what we're going to do now is you have a reading at your table. Let's go ahead and hit pause on the video and get your readings out, and then we're going to go over it together, and then you will answer the questions at your table. All right, let's go ahead and read this together. I'm going to start it off for us. I'm going to do this one, and then y'all can in future do your own. So secession and the Civil War. By 1860, the divisions in the country had reached a breaking point. Southerners were outraged over a plot by abolitionist John Brown to start a slave rebellion in Virginia in 1859. Northern abolitionists were also upset by the recent Supreme Court decision in the case of Dred Scott versus Sanford, which said that slavery remained legal and Southern slave owners could move westward with their slaves. The presidential election of 1860 made these conflicts more serious. Lincoln's opponents were too deeply divided, and he won with less than 40% of the popular vote and without taking a single slave state. Lincoln's election caused the Deep South to ultimately secede. South Carolina responded to Lincoln's selection first, seceding from the Union on December 20th, 1860. Other slave states followed in short order: Mississippi, Florida, Alabama, Georgia, Louisiana, and Texas. In early February, representatives of those states gathered in Montgomery, Alabama, to found a new nation, the Confederate States of America, also known as the Confederacy. The map below shows how the country was divided along sectional lines in 1861. So this is the picture of the map right here. You have the United States on the eve of the Civil War. See, all these blue are your free states. The yellow were the slave states. The green were slave states succeeding after April 14th, 1861. And then you have the red, the slave states that seceded before April 14th, 1861. So these are the states that were actually involved in the Civil War. At first there was peace. Many Americans, including citizens in the Upper South states that had not left the Union, tried to convince the seceded states to return. When Abraham Lincoln was inaugurated on March 4th, 1861, he gave a speech encouraging the South to return and promising that slavery would be protected where it already existed, but he refused to budge on his support of keeping the West free. Okay, so at this time, what I want you to do, if you need to go back and reread the reading, that's okay, but I want you to answer these. You're going to write these 3 questions in these 4 questions in your journal. Then you're going to answer them. Be sure to write incomplete sentences. On number 4 in your journal, I want you to write out your own critical questions. So you're going to, based off this reading and based off your knowledge, I want you to create your own question. All right? You be sure to use either how, what, when, where, or why. And after you create your question, I want you to share it with your partner to generate a discussion over secession. All right, go ahead and pause the video at this time. If you need to reread, go ahead, but be sure to get these answers in your journal. You will have 10 minutes to get this complete. Okay, welcome back. Right now, we should be back into our journals, the readings put away. I want you to answer these 3 questions. Label it DOL. You'll have until the end of the class to get this done. What do you think would have happened if the South did not secede in 1861? I want you to explain yourself. Don't just give me they would still be in the Union. I want you to explain yourself. How do you think the slaves felt when they realized the Confederacy was willing to go to war to defend the institution of slavery? And do you believe Texas was guilty than the Deep South because we had fewer slaves? Why or why not? Go ahead and answer these. When you're done, go put up your journal. And that concludes the video for the day.